Welcome, everybody, into episode 2 of the Blitz Breakdown. Noah Schlicksup, Brody McGough with you today. Football is back, and it's setting in here. Week 3 of the high school football season, college football in full swing. NFL kicks off this weekend. Brody, it was a fall day today, overcast. Got that good breeze. Wasn't a great boating day out on the St. Johns River for me and my family, and that was evidenced by a foot of standing water in our boat. Quite a fun time around noon today, but man, it feels like that feeling's back in the air. You can really feel football is back.
Yeah, man. College football is finally in roll. Had a bunch of upsets. How about Lee Corso getting all of his picks right, though? That was an awesome send-off for him. Just a great weekend of football, a lot of big upsets. There was a big game last night, Notre Dame, Miami, and tonight there's a UNC, TSU, but a lot of good high school football going on, and we got the NFL coming up. It's just awesome. I'm so excited for this football season in all levels.
High school football did not disappoint last week. Me and you got to catch probably the best game of the slate in Bishop Kenny and University Christian, and let's start off this show in a minute with Bishop Kenny and Bishop Kenny and UC. Later on, we'll be joined by Gunnar Rogers from Bishop Kenny. That'll be at 8:20 joining us live, and then at 8:33, TJ Cole from Raines football ahead of our game of the week between Raines and Trinity Christian. First things first, though, Bishop Kenny and UC. Man, what a thriller this was. Final score 21-20, coming down to a block football. On an extra point, 5 yards back after
with some space
getting
up the
flagged on a
sideline.
2-point conversion. Brody, what were your main takeaways from this game?
Well, my main takeaways would be that, first off, very physical football game. Very physical game, especially with
on the run
both
towards
these
the end zone.
schools not
It's
having
caught!
much students as a lot of the schools around the area.
And it's a
Not
touchdown.
as much players on their football
University
team.
Christian.
And with that being said, they have players
Thompson
playing both
connects
ways, and they're
on the
very
line.
well conditioned on both sides.
They
A few
rush
cramps
at
here
least
and
5.
there, but
Hawkins
we're still
looking to
early in the
pass.
season.
It's
It's going
a
to
great
happen.
ball to
But
Madison,
the
and he's
conditioning
going
and the
30,
physicality of that
20,
game was very
10.
impressive.
Touchdown, Crusaders!
They were driving in small
Caleb,
margins. You had to
crowd
earn
making
every
noise.
yard. It was a great
Here's the
defensive
kick,
game,
the
and I
snap,
would say
the
both
hold, the
offenses
kick is
really
blocked!
hung in there till the end.
Absolutely.
Bishop Kenny
Our
is
favorite
going to
part
take the
watch that
football game!
Front sevens. Who stood out to you
Wow.
in both of those teams and how they impacted the
Barring a miracle,
First off, Bishop Kenny, their
that
whole
seals
linebacker
it.
core really played great, but
Just,
again, Gunnar Rogers was
the
an
kick might have
absolute
came
stud.
out
He
a
had
little
multiple
low,
tackles
too,
for
and it was a
loss.
great block
Their
as well. They
D-line
got
played
very
great.
good penetration.
Just, really good
on that
defensive
PAT
performance from
kick.
Bishop Kenny, but same for University
Bishop
Christian.
Kenny.
One notable player that I had that comes to my mind was Matt Hammond. He was in the backfield all day, making a bunch of tackles around the line of scrimmage. Just a really physical game from both teams, and yeah, it was just a great game to watch.
And for Bishop Kenny, I think they were viewed probably as the underdog coming into that game. University Christian coming off of a big win in week 1 against Newberry. What kind of message did they send coming out with the win over the Christians?
That was a big statement. Last week when we did our rankings, we were big talking on if University Christian could slide in that 8 spot competing with Bradford. We talked about it for a while, ended up putting Bradford in there, but with that being said, I think that means Bishop Kenny's now on the bubble of our rankings and things like that. But yeah, big statement from them. Played some really solid football. And I think coming off the bye week, week 1, I thought that was going to be a big problem for them, but they executed very well. Just a few flags at the beginning of the game and some late, but some things they can clean up. But all around, that was a big statement win by Bishop Kenny.
And how about for University Christian? Because I felt like they played a very good game defensively. That unit was flying to the football. They were getting a lot of pressure in the backfield. There was really a couple big plays that were the difference, and that was the thing that we were talking to Coach Tim Krause coming into that game. They wanted to limit the explosive plays. University Christian got 2 of them. Bishop Kenny got a few of them, and those kinds of plays can be big-time game changers, and I think that for both of these teams, they did a solid job of making each other sustain drives, and that was really fun football to watch.
Yeah, when I was in high school football, playing football, Coach Mack always, that was our Creekside's head coach, Coach Mack always told us that you gotta execute in the phone booth. So it's going to be really tight. You got to play in tight margins, and both teams did that very well. You really didn't know who was going to win that game going into fourth. Usually you got to feel like this team's playing better than the other, but really it was just a big clash of titans, and it was a really physical game, and definitely had to execute in small margins. Great game to watch.
And how often in high school football do you see a game with 0 turnovers? I mean, they ran the ball, they didn't turn the ball over, neck and neck battle throughout. That was really fun game to watch, and did not disappoint on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Another big game in the area last week. Fleming Island coming out with the win against Riverside, and Riverside, I think, is a team that in this area they're dangerous. They're a team that can sneak up on anybody each week. And Fleming Island, there were a lot of questions with this team coming into the season. They lose Sebastian Broughton. They lose Trace Burney. They had a lot to replace, especially on that offensive side of the ball. But the Golden Eagles have come out swinging early this season. Big win over Clay. They get this win with some big plays down the stretch against Riverside. And I'm starting to think Fleming Island might be one of those sleeper teams that are going to sneak up on us in the area this season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they shoved it right in my face last week. I thought Riverside was going to win that game. I think I was the only one in the studio that thought Riverside was going to win that game. But, yeah, they played very well. It was a high-scoring game. Went down to the wire. Eventually, Fleming pulled away. Just a great game by them. Riverside, though, yes, they have a lot of athletes and a lot of talent, and I thought they were going to override them with that. But Fleming, they have a lot of talent too, but their discipline really showed at the end.
Absolutely, and that offense, creating those explosive plays, creating those types of game-changing moments, and they've got a big-time test in Oakleaf this week, who beat Riverside week 1. They put up more points than Oakleaf did against Riverside, but they also gave up more. I think going into this game, what are the biggest things you're watching in that matchup this week?
Some of the biggest things that I would say is Oakleaf has a lot of great talented receivers and also really talented QB. They need to get the pass game going, especially against Fleming if they want to win this ball game. I mean, and also Oakleaf's defense, they've been playing really well. They've been holding teams to low scores, and I think they'll continue doing that. But Fleming, again, they had a great offensive game against Riverside. They have great defensive players as well. Was a little shocked that it was a high-scoring game, but I think once the game comes to the line, it's really going to be between Oakleaf's offense and Fleming's defense. Who could win that battle? And that will tell the story, in my opinion.
Another big matchup last week that I think everyone had eyes on. Battle of two private schools, Bolles and Trinity Christian, perennial powerhouses in the area. Bolles ending up with a 35-12 win over the Conquerors. Xander Edwards had another great game at running back, over 100 yards, a touchdown. He's got 3 touchdowns, 257 yards through their first 2 games. Jaden Weatherly with another really nice game at quarterback. Bolles, that's a game where they really dominated in that second half. It was a close game at halftime, but man, did they take over. And I think I'm really impressed just how dominant they were, because Trinity is a good team. That's a team that week in, week out is going to give you challenges, but the Bulldogs, they were on another level there, it seemed, in the second half.
Yes, I mean, don't let that 0-2 number fool you. The Trinity's a great team, and they're always a great, solid program, but I feel like they've been having some problems in second half football. I mean, against Bolles, they're only down by 1 score going into half, and the same for the Ed White game. There was a 1-score game, or they were up or tied. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, or I don't remember exactly what happened. But again, they're in the game in the first half of the game. It's just the second half, they just need to clean up some things to eventually get that win. But Bolles, I mean, they're very dominant. They're looking very good this year. Got a lot of big boys, got a lot of talent, got a lot of commits, a lot of kids with offers. And you know, one thing about Bolles, they're going to play some really disciplined football, and that showed in the second half against Trinity last Friday.
Absolutely, and this is a team that they were balanced. They ran the ball 31 times. They had 118 yards on the ground. Not exactly the most efficient, I guess you could say. You want probably more than 4 yards per carry per game, but they're going out there. They're doing really well on the ground. Jaden Weatherly is not turning the ball over, and they're hitting a multitude of guys. It's not just one threat they have on offense at receiver. You got Corbin Fordham. You got Naeem Burrows. You got Camden Teetsy, who they got from Ponte Vedra. Malachi Dunn also caught a pass in that game. They've used Xander Edwards in their passing game. This is a group that there's not one guy that you look at and like, hey, if we shut him down, we shut down the passing game. This is a group that can hit you from all different areas, and that really makes them dangerous.
Yeah, I think, and especially all their threats have different talents to them and different things that they're very good at. They got Burrows with speed. and they got their big tight end who's really good at getting up there and getting some catches. Also, the running game, I think it's very well. You definitely want to do a little bit better there last Friday, but I mean, it's going to be hard to stop those guys. It's a big O-line and a big halfback running behind them. And Jaden Weatherly playing very good football so far. Expect to see more of that with the rest of this season. But yeah, Bulls wowing us again.
Yeah, the Bulldogs are certainly a big-time team in the area, state championship aspirations, and they've got a big matchup, which we will get to later, St. Augustine and Bulls this week. Man, what a game that is going to be. But last week, a team that really stood on business, Ponte Vedra, coming off that loss against Nice, 48-14 over the Bartram Trail Bears. They passed for 364 yards as a team. That is dominant through the air. Cole Rosendahl, the quarterback, 370 yards, 70% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns. They averaged 5.7 yards per carry on 12 rushes. Now, they did have a big, I want to say 53-yard run, 52, somewhere in that area that made up for most of it. But I think we were talking about this right before the show. Ponte Vedra is a team that over the years has been, they run the ball first. That sets up everything else over these past few years with Brian Case at running back, those teams. But they have so much, they're dynamic with their passing game. And they've done such a nice job through those first 2 weeks. And we saw them adjust to that in the second half against Nice. And I really like how they came out there and they leaned on it against Bartram Trail.
Yeah, they got great weapons on offense. And Rosendahl, I mean, that's 2 games back-to-back over 350 yards passing. And that 70% completion rating, if you're throwing for over 350 yards and you got 70% completion rating, man, you're slinging that thing. That is a great game by him. But yes, they have great weapons. Stanton, I heard, got 2 touchdowns last week. And Jack Bergquist, I think Bergquist is their front-runner guy. They're one of their best talents on the team, and that's a big guy right there, and that's a hard player to go against. And they just have multiple weapons across the field. Winkle's getting in the passing game at times, but yeah, they shoved it in my face just like Fleming did. Those are the 2 picks I lost last week, and I really thought Bartram was going to get in there and give him some problems, but they bottled up Arthur Lewis. I don't think he rushed over 50 yards off 10 carries. And just, that's a great performance by the Sharks. Really good bounce-back win from that Nice Panthers game.
I talked about with Bulls, how they spread the ball around. I'm looking here at the box score. Ponte Vedra, 7 guys caught a pass, and all of them had multiple receptions in that game. Tucker Henderson, Jack Bergquist, Caleb Stanton, David Doherty, Angelo Kekelik.
Hard name to pronounce.
Keeklik. It was all over the place. Coach Steve Price, shout out. Kekelik, PA announcer Keeklik. And then they got it to their running back as well, Alex Winkles. Shane Conroy caught a few passes. But when you're able to spread the ball around like that and have guys make an impact in the passing game, it really makes the team dangerous.
Yeah, because especially in high school football, I feel like there's always like 1 or 2 guys that really get the ball majority in the pass game. But when you can spread it out like that, it is very hard to go up against a passing offense like that where there's multiple weapons and you can't really key on anybody on the field because everybody can damage you through the air. So it's a very good recipe for success, but I think they need to get that run game going a little bit better. But they're looking in good shape right now and have a great season ahead of them.
That defense with a big-time game, shutting down that Bartram offense. They held Arthur Lewis to just 40 yards rushing, which is a very tough thing to do. Got an interception. I'm wondering, just how good do you think Ponte Vedra is? Because they came out, they sent a message this week. Bartram is always a good team, good program over there. Just how good, what is the ceiling for this Ponte Vedra team?
I think the ceiling for them, just to start off with that, is they could definitely win 9 games. They could win out the schedule. They have tough games coming up. They got a tough game going to Baker County. That's never an easy team to go against. But some notable teams that they play the rest of the season: Fleming Island, Middleburg. Those are going to be some tough games. Those are going to be some fun ones to watch. But they definitely have a chance to run the table. I could definitely see them going 9-1. But I would say first, if they want to do that, they need to establish a running game and be more of a balanced offense. And that'll lead them into good things. I think their defense is really good. They just struggled against Nice Panthers week 1. It's a hard offense to go against, but I think their defense is stout. Offense is playing good. Good things coming out of Ponte Vedra Sharks this season.
I want to move forward. We got 3 minutes to hit a couple of topics here. And this is something that we've talked a lot about over the last couple of weeks, just me, you, and Chandler. Bulls versus Raines. who's the number one team in the area. You guys both think it's Bulls. I think it's Raines. And I'm going to start with my reasoning here. Raines, a team that made the state championship in a higher classification last year. They returned TJ Cole, Zion Butler, Tadarius Washington. They have got guys on both sides of the ball that are returners, that are impact players. Those three guys I mentioned there just on offense. And this is a team 77-0. I don't care who you're playing. That is a dominant performance. When you put up 60 points in the first half, that takes a special team. I think you got to give the benefit of the doubts to Raines. Why do you say Bulls?
First off, I think everything you said is very valid. I mean, I think this is a very hard choice to make. They're both really good teams. I wish they played again this year. They had a great game last year, absolute thriller at Bulls. But I would love to see them play again. Too bad it's not in either of their on their schedules. But yeah, Raines looking good this year. But Bulls, I mean, again, their offense very versatile. You know, Bulls is always very disciplined. They got a good run game and a good passing game going. They didn't score no 77 points, but also playing a little bit tougher competition to start off the year. They beat Monarch down in South Florida. That's always a very solid team to play. And coming off that win against Trinity, not a little bit of a lull in the first half offensively. Defense was playing great the whole game, but a little bit of lull offensively in the first half. Really picked it up in the second half, and that's something that you're always going to see from Bulls. Their second half adjustments always go through, and it's really hard to go against that coaching staff. So that's my reasoning for Bulls. I really think it can go either way, but I think I'm leaning a little bit towards Bulls on this one.
Now, real quick here before we get into the commercial break, the last thing I want to talk about, what team has more to prove this week? Trinity Christian or St. Augustine? St. Augustine, a team that lost some guys last season, but they are performing extremely well out the gate. They have the chance to go up against Bulls, who we have as our number one team in the area. After much debate on that. St. Augustine, though, they can go in there. They can send a real message. But Trinity, 0-2, going up against Raines, their first 0-2 start since 2005. Which team has more to prove this week? And keep it quick, because we got to get to break.
It's a hard question. I would just go straight bluntly with it. I think I think St. Augustine has more to prove this week simply because they're going against the number one team, and they wanted this match last year, but it got rained out. But I think St. Aug has more to prove this week. That would be my answer.
Well, we've got plenty to look forward to on Friday night, and we've got an interview to look forward to. Gunnar Rogers from Bishop Kenny joining us after this break on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
All right.
Welcome back into episode 2 of the Blitz Breakdown. We've got Gunnar Rogers getting ready to join us from Bishop Kenny, coming off of a big win against University Christian. Gunnar, great to have you here on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I want to start off, I saw your comment on our picks after your win against University Christian, and I got to say, I respect that. I was wondering, what was the talk in the locker room going into that game? Did you guys kind of hear the outside noise, use it as motivation last week?
Most definitely. We felt disrespected. We want to go prove ourselves.
And I think you guys did. We were talking about it. We feel you sent a message there against University Christian, especially there on the defensive side of the ball. You're going up against a unit that put up 47 points week 1. What did you guys do to be able to slow them down offensively?
Coach Case implemented a great game plan early in the week, and we practiced hard all week and just went out and executed on all levels on Friday.
I want to get into, you guys are so physical up front at the line of scrimmage. I feel like you did a great job shutting down that run game, and you put so much pressure on the quarterback, they weren't able to pass. How much of an emphasis do you guys put on pressure each week?
Well, we put a bunch of emphasis on pressure. Our D-line's been working all summer, getting bigger, faster, stronger. They went out there and showed that.
And you got a great weight room as well to work in. And we've got a former linebacker here on the show with us, Brody McGough, who very much enjoyed watching you guys play. Brody, what do you have on their linebacker room for Gunnar?
Yeah, man, after watching the first week, Nice Ponte Vedra, I thought Nice had a really good linebacker core, and I think your guys' can match right up with theirs. You guys have some studs, Aiden Piper, James Davis, Ashton Green, and of course you, Gunnar, leading the way. What's so special about this linebacker group?
We work hard year round, always pushing each other, working out together. We're always working.
Working year round, and you guys had a deep playoff run last year, made it to the regional finals. How did that kind of propel you through the offseason motivation-wise?
Yeah, we definitely felt like we fell short last year, and we want to get past that point this year.
And you're off to a great start. I want to ask for you, you've been starting for this program for a few years now. Where do you feel like you've grown the most as a player?
I feel like Coach Mack helped me a lot the first 3 years. He's been around football for a while, and he really helped me understand the game.
Now, we're looking at you, and I didn't see any offers on your Twitter. Are you looking to go play college ball?
Yes, sir, for sure.
So I want to give you a kind of platform here to talk about. We feel you're a great player, underrated in the area, bring size, speed, do a lot at the linebacker position. What would be your personal pitch to a college coach on why they should have you for their program?
Just a hard-working player, always going to try to be the best on the field.
That's a great pitch right there,
Yeah,
and
it is.
It shows up on Friday nights. And for you guys, you've got a tough 3 games ahead of you over the next few weeks. What are you doing to get ready for those, and what kind of challenges are they going to present?
Definitely going to present some challenges. We're going to keep working, keep practicing hard, and we can get better every week.
Bishop Kenny off to a great start this season, and they'll keep it going against Tokoi Creek this Friday night. Best of luck there in that matchup. Gunnar, thanks for joining us on the show.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Gunnar Rogers from Bishop Kenny, and we talked about it. That win against University Christian, so big there for the Crusaders, and Rogers, that linebacker core, a big part of it.
Yeah, man. Again, massive win for them. Coming in as a slight underdog going into the game, but they really proved our station wrong and played a great game out there. They got a great season ahead of them. Big matchup against Tecoy Creek next week, which will be a great one to watch.
And you talked about how you were really impressed by them. You think that linebacker core stacks up with a stacked Nice linebacker core, and there's some good ones here in the area. Those two near the top. What exactly do they do on the field that impresses you so much?
It's all across the levels. They have guys that can do multiple things, and they have guys they just position them right. I mean, their left outside linebacker, James Davis, coming off the edge for Bishop Kenny, and also just going in some coverage plays sometimes. He could do both very well. And the two inside linebackers, they fit run very well. If they read pass, they're dropping in their zones. And also, both the inside linebackers are very good rushers of the quarterback. I think you saw that last Friday night. And also, they're Ashton Green, their Sam nickel linebacker, absolute stud, doing great plays in coverage, doing a really good job at disrupting the perimeter side, especially because he's on the strong side. And that linebacker core is definitely stout and one to watch out for this season.
You know, you take a risk when you apply as much pressure as Bishop Kenny does. When you're bringing all those guys to get pressure on the line of scrimmage, you do leave your secondary a little thin. But how do you kind of balance that going into each week, and why do you think those defenses are so effective that do take that risk?
Yeah, very effective. I think one of the biggest things across all levels of football is getting pressure on the quarterback, especially on teams that could pass the ball. University Christian, definitely more of a run team, but they definitely got them in some situations where they need to pass the ball. And taking that risk, I think, is definitely worth it. You definitely need to send heat in games. If you don't, you're going to cause problems. You keep giving them the same zone look or man look without no pressure behind it. It's going to be tough to get after QB. But also, they're not just sending pressures, they're also sending a lot of stunts. The defensive line can also stun each other. One will go inside, they'll crisscross, and definitely confusing the O-line a little bit of University Christians, and it's very important to get after that quarterback.
It's going to be a very fun defense to watch throughout the season. They've got some tough matchups coming up, and it will be interesting to see how they play against those teams. And speaking of some tough matchups, some tough teams, let's get into our rankings. Week 2 in the 904, and there's some a lot of really good teams in the area, and all the teams in our rankings played extremely well last week. So we decided, hey, there's no real need to move these rankings around. We feel pretty good about where they're at.
Yeah, all of them played very good games. They're all winning by multiple scores. Just absolutely great teams in the top 8, and there's a bunch looking out on the outside looking in who could definitely sneak in there at any time this season. But a lot of great teams in the area and a lot of good football to watch. I'm just so excited for the rest of this season.
Now, we've got some of these teams with big games this week. Who do you think could be the biggest movers next week with a win or a loss?
St. Augustine, I think, will have to be at the top of the list. They're going against our number 1 seed, Bulls Bulldogs, which was highly debated, as mentioned earlier. But I think that would be the biggest mover. It would shake up all of our rankings. And also, if the Oakley-Fleming game, if Fleming gets that win, it's going to shake up some things, and we're going to have to make some big decisions.
And who do you think is on the outside looking in? Because there are some teams that are right there that probably deserve recognition, but top 8, it's a tough category this year, but who are those teams who you could see sneaking in?
I'll start off with Bishop Kenny. I mean, they really impressed me. They got guys on both sides of the balls, and they play their butts off. They're just very hard workers, as Gunnar was saying. You could tell that their work is finally translating to the field, and it's just a very good team right there. Ponte Vedra Sharks could be another one. They have a great season ahead of them, and I think those two would be the ones I'd pick. University Christian still in the question, though. I mean, just because they had a loss against Bishop Kenny doesn't mean they can't prove themselves even more throughout the season.
Yeah, a couple teams I have my eye on still. Fleming Island has really got my attention to start the season. Fletcher's a team that a lot of coaches before the season were saying they're getting slept on. That's a team with a lot of talent, and one I could see sneaking into the top 8 at some point this season, because they've got a game this week against Atlantic Coast. They've got some big games coming up. They play Mandarin. They play Nice. They are tested. That's a team who I could for sure see sneaking into these rankings at some point this season. Columbia out there in Lake City, they've got a couple big wins so far. So Obviously, there's a lot of debate. This is always a fun discussion over the weekends, but for this week, this is our top 8. Bulls, Raines, Nice, St. Aug, with Mandarin, Ed White, Oakleaf, and Bradford, 5 through 8. Back after this break, TJ Cole from the Raines Vikings joining us when we return on the Blitz Breakdown.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder grade materials. And there's more, and for that we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts.
Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Back for more with the Blitz Breakdown. Brody, McGough, Noah Schlicksup, and being joined now by TJ Cole from the Raines Vikings, quarterback over there at Raines. TJ, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, TJ.
We're doing great here. Glad to have you on the show, and you've got yourself a big matchup this week against Trinity Christian. How are you guys getting ready for that?
Just one day at a time. We started our week early today. 9 o'clock this morning. We got into it, watched a little bit of film from last game, and just kind of like install some things to allow us and help us get through the weekend, come back from Friday with a dub.
You guys are coming off of a big-time win against Sandalwood, 77-0. You had 5 touchdown passes. I got to ask, TJ, how do you improve from that?
Hey, there's always some things you can improve from, whether it's a loss or win, no matter what it is. There's always some things you can improve. Maybe just missteps, missed timings, things like that. But like 77 points is a lot, so it ain't too much you can really correct from 77 points. So I just feel like just having everybody healthy, is just a big thing going into this weekend.
I gotta imagine that second half was pretty fun. Fourth quarter down on the sideline.
Nah, it wasn't fun. I was trying to get in some more action. You know, they took me out. Yeah, they got me out of there early. So yeah, but I think it's good for the young guys to go in there and get some quality reps. No matter what the outcome is, just to see the younger guys get some quality reps. It's just big as a big brother on the team and a leader on the team.
I respect that, TJ. I know a lot of teams are, in those blowout wins having fun down there, but you want to play. You strike me as that type of guy.
Yeah.
I talked to you at Media Day. We did an interview here on Action Sports Jacks, and you talked about a revenge tour after the state championship loss last year. How has that motivated you throughout the offseason and this team going into this year?
It has motivated us a lot, the work that we've put in over the summer, the spring, and things of that nature. It motivates us a lot, especially now that we didn't get to play that Miami Central game. So, just coming in with that chip on our shoulder, just coming in, putting in the work, and just dominating. And we did that last Friday. The domination that we had, and it was just a big part of our success last year. And we're gonna get back to that stage, and we're gonna definitely get it done this year.
Yeah, love everything you're saying, TJ. You sound like a great captain for your team. But just bouncing off that, I know that state championship game last year definitely motivated y'all for this season. But what is a big lesson that y'all have learned from last year's season?
The biggest lesson that we've learned was just keep competing. Things are going to be unfortunate. We just got to keep competing and fighting through adversity and control what we can control.
TJ, you guys play some really challenging games on the road over the next 4 weeks. What kind of challenge does that present?
It's a big challenge. Some might say we didn't have that challenge last season. So just coming in this season and having that chance, them challenges going down to Trinity, that's going to be a big game. At Trinity, I know that it's going to be a hostile environment, and then taking that trip down to Lake Mary, that's going to be a crazy environment. So just having those games early and just being able to get those games out of the way and to know where we are as a team, competing with some good quality competition, that'll tell us a lot about how our season should go.
What are some of those things you are looking to learn in your matchup this week? Are there certain areas of your team that you're trying to figure out?
Yeah. We know that our D-line is very physical. We know that Trinity's O-line is very, very physical. So that'll be a good matchup for us to look into. We want to see our D-line get tested, and offensive line as well. They have a strong defensive line. So, just the battle in the trenches that we're excited to see if the trenches can hold for the skills that we have on the back end and at receiver.
And how important is it to get the run game going this week against a team that did a nice job against a tough Bulls team last week in that area?
It's very important, with the receivers we have, that takes a lot of stress off of me throwing the ball. We got Tadarius Washington and Rashawn Haynes in the backfield. So, just them guys alone, just getting them going early, that takes a lot of pressure off of me as a quarterback. And it takes a lot of pressure off of the receivers that we have. We want to throw the ball 30 times a game, but, just to have those two dynamic backs in the backfield, it takes a lot of pressure off of us.
You graduated a couple senior receivers from last year's team. Who's kind of stepped up for you there, and how have you worked on building your chemistry with them?
We had a lot of guys to step up. Zion Green was a big one. He's a sophomore this season. He has stepped up in a major role. Zion Butler, Kelvin Brown, Ethan Sherman, Devin Frazier. We have a lot of weapons that we replaced. We had a lot of weapons last year, so just being able to replace those weapons that we had last year with the same amount of talent, just faster. And we know Coach Rick Wells getting them receivers right. So just the talent that we have in the receiving room that we replaced. It ain't gonna be easy for a lot of defensive backs this year.
It never is. That passing game you guys have. That's nasty. We saw it firsthand last year over at Creekside, right, Brody?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw y'all light it up, especially in that fourth quarter. Y'all really turned it up against my Knights. But it was a great game out of you guys, and it was a great season all around to watch from you guys last season.
I have a couple things for you to round out the interview. TJ, you went viral with 904 Productions on TikTok, High School Media Day this past year. You were going around asking some questions at Media Day. I got to say, I love that video. That was top tier entertainment.
It's hilarious.
What we wanted to do for this interview, absolutely. What we wanted to do here, we want to ask you the questions you were asking out at Media Day. You cool with that?
Let's do it.
All right, so TJ Cole, who is one team you're looking forward to playing this year?
Definitely Lake Mary. It was Miami Central, It was Miami Central. We wish that we could have had that game on that Saturday, but now that hasn't happened, Lake Mary, just taking that trip down to Lake Mary, it's going to be a hostile environment. And you want to play in those type of games, those type of big games. So Lake Mary is a game that I got scheduled. And then just being back at Reebok, my first time playing the Raines and Gunnar at Reebok. So just being back at Reebok, the new field, the new school, it's going to be fun.
I do have a follow-up to that, though, because you were Reebok's quarterback. How does that affect, your experience there in that game? Does it make it mean a little bit more to you?
Not really, just being the person I am, it's always love for the other side. But just coming in motivated, just being back at the new school, like I said, and just being on the new field where I knew that it was going to be a beautiful field, just being able to play on it for my senior year, it's going to be great.
Absolutely. Always an exciting game. And then last thing we got for you, TJ, back to what you were asking at Media Day. Who's your pick to win the Super Bowl this year?
I want to say the hometown team, but I believe that this year, I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens gonna have a good shot at it. With Jair Alexander. Yeah, man.
They're due.
The defense looking scary. The offense looking scarier. So I think the Ravens have a big shot at it this year.
And they got the local guy, Derrick Henry, leading the way there.
Derrick Henry, can't go wrong with Derrick Henry, man. So
absolutely.
Dynamic duo in the back for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dual threat if I've ever heard of one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, TJ, thanks for joining us here on the show. Best of luck on Friday and the rest of this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, TJ.
Yes,
Back
sir.
after this break, that was TJ Cole with the Raines Vikings. We've got our picks for the week with Stuart Weber and Chandler Dantzler coming up next on the Blitz Breakdown.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Welcome back to the Blitz Breakdown. I want to give a shout-out Bryson Wright for the Mandarin Mustangs last week. He's been off to an incredible start, and last week, Wright goes out there against Atlantic Coast. Touchdown reception, pick six, and a kick return for a touchdown. How impressive is that from Bryson Wright? He got a pick six receiving touchdown, crazy catch week one. This kid, he's on another level.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like it, if I'm being honest. I mean, all three, like, that's crazy. And especially that catch, he was getting PI'd on that catch, in my opinion. The guy was all up on him, was great coverage, plus the PI. But, I mean, man, kid is off to a great start to the season. He's scoring touchdowns left and right. And just on defense, don't throw the ball his way. On offense, you need like 2 or 3 guys over there covering him.
This is my 6th year watching high school football in the Jacksonville area. So not Stuart Weber numbers, but from my limited experience here in the area, we've still seen some great players over the years. Bryson Wright's the most electrifying, and I've been saying that since his first game. I saw his first game against Creekside, made a spectacular grab in that game. He's been a game changer ever since he came onto the scene. So really excited to see him later this year. Mandarin Fletcher Game of the Week here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. And for this week, we've got some exciting matchups as well. And to join us to pick these matchups, Stuart Weber from Action Sports Jacks. Stuart, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, hey guys, I've been listening. It's been an enjoyable show. And this would be year number 14 covering high school football for me. So I did cover one Derrick Henry when he played high school here. He was okay.
He was okay.
He was all right, you know. Give the guy the ball 40, 50 times a game. Shout out Bobby Ramsey, and just let him run, and it was entertaining. That has been the biggest, you know, mismatch that I've ever seen in my high school football coverage.
A man amongst boys, you would say.
Yes, and yeah, it's pretty wild. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, we had the big ESPN game against Glades Day when Kelvin Taylor was a running back for them, Fred's son, and they came up here. They put it on ESPN. It was a big deal. Obviously, a big deal. I mean, you know, ESPN game in Yulee was awesome. It was a really cool experience. So I enjoyed getting a chance to cover Derrick back in the day and all the athletes over all the TV stops. The cool thing for me is I've had great high school football at every stop along my career. I started in Midland, Odessa, Texas, the Odessa Permian Panthers. If you've seen the movie Friday Night Lights, the Mojo, covered that team in person, and then Columbus, Georgia was full of great players and teams as well. And now here in Northeast Florida, where it just means a lot, and the talent's really high, and the game days are awesome. It's one of the favorite things we do in this job, which is why I don't mind hopping in here on the show with you boys.
For sure, and we've got some exciting matchups this week with some great talent. Starting off with our game of the week, Raines at Trinity. And me and Brody, not picking this game as we are calling it, but Stuart, what do you have for this one?
I mean, Trinity is going to be fine. I will preface it by saying that, right? Trinity will be just fine. They'll be 0-3, but they'll be just fine. Because I don't know if they can beat Raines this week. And Trinity will be fine. Just letting you know. I have a good feeling that they're going to make a deep run, probably win a region championship, get to the state Final Four in their classification. I just don't know if they have the guys right now and the experience right now to keep up with that stacked Raines roster. I mean, how do you score 77 points in a high school football game? It's really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Because once you get to halftime and the running clock starts, like I saw it last week with Beachside, they scored 30 in the second half with a running clock. And it's like, that is really hard to do because you have so few possessions. You kind of just have to get the ball in every single way, and defensive touchdown, special teams, you know, doing all the things. So to score 77 in a game it's bananas. Bananas. So Raines really talented. Raines really good, and I expect that to continue. Look, if you're Trinity, you go out there, you try and prove yourself, you try to show what you can do, and maybe you learn some lessons. That's kind of what it is at this point in the stage. You're going to get a lot of playoff points for playing a team that's going to have such a good resume. Take those and run with them. My thoughts.
Chandler?
Yeah, as you can see on the screen, I just put it up. I'm going to have to go with the Raines too. Like Stuart said, tough 3 weeks. Like, really tough 3 weeks for the Conquerors over there on the west side. For Raines to score 77 in the first game, that just kind of gives us a wow. Like, they're a great team, but once you see 77 points on the board, like, you don't really see that in high school football. So I'm going to go with Raines. We'll put this out on social media. We kind of want to hear the fan vote. So see that on Instagram, and we'll get the fan vote and see what you guys think.
Like Stuart said, Trinity is going to be okay. We were talking before the show.
Just fine.
Brody, you said 6-4 is kind of your expectation for them this year, and who knows, maybe they pull off a major upset and get back on track in a big way this week at home. Next game we got, St. Augustine at Bulls, a top 4 matchup in our rankings. St. Augustine going to the Bulls school. I'm going to start us off. I have been really impressed with St. Augustine. I think they are a very good team. That offense has surprised me in a big way. They haven't lost a step. However, Bulls is Bulls. They are loaded on all fronts of the football. They're experienced, and for that reason, I'm going with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to agree with you, especially earlier in the show after I'm debating for Bulls to be our number 1 ranked team. I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'm going to pick Bulls winning this one. I think just they're too big up front on both sides, and that's just going to win them the game. I don't think St. Aug's big enough and physical enough to deal with that for 4 quarters, so I'm going to take Bulls.
Yeah, I'm going to be a contrarian here. I think that St. Augustine has a really good young roster, and I really love the job that Brian Braddock does with whatever he's given. Mm-hmm. And that's the key thing, right? That is a roster composed of all the kids that live in St. Augustine and come to play for the Yellow Jackets. They want to be Yellow Jackets. They live their entire life growing up to play for St. Augustine at Foots Brumley Stadium, and it means that much to them. This game is going to mean a whole lot to the Yellow Jackets, and I don't know that many coaches in our area that give a better pregame speech than Brian Braddock. We've been in that locker room a few times. He will have those boys motivated, so give me the upset. Give me St. Augustine to go and get a victory. I'm really hoping that it's super close. We love the close games on the Zone Blitz. We get to show them to you live on Action Sports Shacks 24/7. So really hoping it comes down to the last possession between 2 really good football teams, 2 of the best in our area that will contend in the playoffs. Make some deep runs, hopefully, for Northeast Florida.
Well, I know Stuart can't hear me, but I just said it while we were going. I think Coach Drafts gives a pretty good pregame speech. That's just my opinion.
He does.
Don't disrespect Brian Braddock, though.
But by the way, my favorite thing from Coach Drafts is the fact that you know why they make sidewalks, right?
Why?
Because the streets aren't for everybody. We got that on camera last year at one point, so we do love a good Coach Drafts pep talk as well.
Yeah.
So for St. Aug Bulls, I'm going to have to go with Bulls. Like you guys said, St. Aug is a great team, some of the best coaches in the area. Bulls had great 2 weeks. I just don't see St. Aug beating a team like Bulls. I don't know. We could get surprised on this one, and I don't know. Stewart's going St. Aug, so he's not going to be surprised if St. Aug wins this one.
Yeah, listen, this is one that
I think... It's a toss-up. It's going to be a really good game.
It could go either way, and this is a game that I could very much see St. Augustine winning. They have been phenomenal through the first 2 weeks, and listen, this is one that I was kind of going back and forth on, but in the end, go with Bulls, but I could very well see St. Augustine proving me wrong.
I feel like I agree with you guys. St. Aug's a great program, but I just feel like you got to go with the battle-tested team. Bulls has played some great talent so far, and they've proved themselves in those games. Not saying St. Aug hasn't done some good things. They've done some great things, and they've done their job of taking care of these teams in the beginning of the season, but I'm going to go with the battle-tested Bulls on this one.
All right.
For sure. We've got Fleming Island at Oakleaf, and this is a game that maybe at the start of the year people might not have sensed as big of a game as it has turned out to be here in Week 3, or as anticipated as it is. Fleming at Oakleaf, and this is a game that I think is another one. Could go either way. I think Fleming has been phenomenal out of the gate, But the reason I'm going to go ahead and pick the Oakleaf Knights is simply because of the defensive side of the football. The Knights have been phenomenal through the first 2 weeks on the defensive side, and I think that's what's going to separate them in the end from the Fleming Island Golden Eagles. So give me the Knights here over Fleming Island.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's the hardest game to pick this week. Fleming coming off a great win against Riverside. Oakleaf also had a win against Riverside in the beginning of the season. Both very different games. One was more offensive, one was more defensive. So we're looking, again, I said it earlier, we're looking at, in my opinion, Oakleaf's offense versus Fleming's defense. Who could win that battle, I think, will really tell the story. And I just think Oakleaf has too much talent to not figure it out by week 3 to really get that passing game going. So if they could do that and keep running the ball well, I'm going to take the Oakleaf Knights on this one.
Yeah, major props, by the way, to Coach Tom McPherson and what he's done with Fleming Island. Kind of came on over the summertime, really took over that program. Coach Chip really jumped into a tough spot last year to be the head coach, and McPherson came on back in the spring, so he's familiar with the program, but still kind of a short notice to jump into that head coaching role. But he's done it plenty of times in plenty of places, so the guy knows how to coach some talented players. He's got a lot of them at Fleming Island, but they got a lot of them over at Oakleaf as well. Give me Coach Foy. Give me the Oakleaf Knights, especially because it's at home. They create a really good environment there. I was there for Midnight Madness as they started the high school football season with that first practice, and there was at least 100 people in the stands for a midnight practice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was wild. They had fireworks. It was great. So give me Coach Foy. Give me the Oakleaf Knights.
I can't hear you, Chandler.
That's on me. It's just part of the job. I'm getting used to it. Both these teams are pretty even matched. They both played Riverside, both won by 9 points. So I kind of think this is going to be a close one. This was, like Brody said, one of the toughest ones this week for us to choose. But I'm going to have to see Oakleaf win.
A little scared looking at the straight Oakleafs across from it because, again, I picked against Fleming last week, and if they do it 2 weeks in a row to me, that's not going to look good on my end. So
you're never picking against Fleming again.
If they win, I will probably not pick against them the rest of the season, if I'm being honest. But should be a good game. Excited for it.
Atlantic Coast traveling to the beach. The Beach Rats, Fletcher taking on Atlantic Coast. And Theatric Faison has done a very good job with the Senators over the past few years. They've got a lot of talent on that team. That's a team we gave each coach a form at Media Day. And Fleming Island may have been the most responded as the most slept on team in the area. And this is a team that I think is going to do a lot of damage this season. They could sneak into our top 8 at some point. And I'm taking them over Atlantic Coast.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I think Atlantic Coast is a very good team going into this year. I think they usually have a really good defense. I know they didn't really show it against Mandarin, but Mandarin's really stacked on offense. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think it'll be a defensive game, especially if it's close. But I'm going to have to go with beach ball on this one. I'm taking Fletcher.
I think the cool thing is both of these programs are coached by players who played for these programs. Step Durham with Atlantic Coast, and then, of course, C4 with the Fletcher Senators. Ironically enough, I covered both of them. Step Durham at Atlantic Coast, C4 at Florida many moons ago, back in the day. So really cool because, it means a lot to them to lead those programs. Those are their programs.
Yeah.
It's where they played. That said, I think Fletcher wins. Give me the Beach Rats at home for sure.
Give me the Beach Rats to Fletcher's coming in 2-0. 2 good wins over Terra Parker and Rebolt. I think they'll go 3-0 after Friday, so give me Fletcher.
All right, we are under 2 minutes here, and we've got 2 games to get to. So real quick, rapid fire, who you got? Tacoy at Bishop Kenny. Give me the Crusaders.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. They played a really good game week 1. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed by them, so I'm going to take Bishop Kenny on this one.
I'm going outside the box again, guys. I mean, Bishop Kenny, I did pick against them last week, and they won that game. I'm going to pick up against them this week. Maybe I'm their motivation. Maybe I'm what they need. Maybe Gunnar Rogers needs to go on this and put some more laughing emojis or whatever you got to do. I think Tocoy Creek gets a win on the road, down by the river. I'll be the contrarian. I don't mind. Why not?
I can't go pick against Bishop Kenny again. I really don't want Gunnar Rogers coming in and giving me 3 laughing emojis again. So I'm going to go BK. They surprised all of us last week, or some of us. So I'm going to go BK on this one.
Last one. One word, Nice or Lincoln. Panthers for me.
Taking drafts.
I'll always pick the local team. Give me Nice to win it. The Lincoln has a really good schedule, and they played well this year.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the 904 too. Give me Nice.
That was not one word, you guys, but you know what? We kept it quick. 904, all right. 904 drafts Nice Panthers. All right, we got Nice across the board. And that will do it for the Blitz Breakdown this week. A fun episode here on Action Sports Jacks 24/7. See you Friday night for Trinity Christian and Raines, and see you next week